Smart thinking.
Now I know.
And knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe!
For the staff, Rusted Staff is great. After 3-star upgrade, it will torpor enemies. Not all enemies, but most, allowing for safe cast time. The Golden Staff, also after 3-star upgrade, it will silence the spellcasters. The Golden Grace is probably the easiest version to get. At the encampment notice board, kill 7 phantasms or phantoms, I think. And then Legion's Might is great for a mage pawn, especially for a support mage pawn that does not rely on damage attacks. We all know how Torpor works, and we all know how Silence works. But for the spellcasters, while silenced, now they cannot cast any spells, which is pretty handy. Pretty slick. And then Torpor will slow them down, which increases that silence duration as well. And then sometimes some enemies, particularly goblins, while poisoned, basically they just become zombies and stand still for you. For the Archstaff, for Sorcerer, hands down, Caged Fury. That's the best weapon. Doubles your damage after getting the charge of 8. And I'm sure you already know, it's a pretty common weapon. Pretty badass. Any golden Archstaff will do, but the Grievous Gold is the easiest one to get from the notice board at Arsmith, I think his name is, the ale house. That one's real easy. You just go get the Chamberlain affidavit, turn it in, super easy. And then also the Rusted Archstaff. Torpor, again, handy for those long cast time spells. But Caged Fury, that's a game changer there. It leaves you vulnerable, but after 8 hits at that point, now you're doing double damage. But if you get hit, you're fucked. It's great. I love it. For Strider specifically, Chilling Razors, the ice daggers, are great. With the Splitter skill, you will be able to freeze many different enemies very easily. And then the Sapphire daggers have the debilitation of lowering the defenses of the enemies, ultimately giving you a 30% damage boost while they're in lowered defense. And then the Rusted Bow, easy to gain Torpor with 5-fold, and the Rusted Bow, which goes to Assassin as well. Now for freeze, the ice weapons can freeze enemies, and while they're frozen, there you go, they're frozen. Now you can do whatever you want. You can cast a long spell if you've got a long spell. You can charge a hard-hitting attack if you got that. Whatever you want to do. The lower defense now, he's caught on fire for one, but additionally he's got the lowered defense, so let's slow him down. And we're getting a 30% damage bonus physical only, I believe. I don't think that applies to magic. Actually, I need to test that. And Ranger will not gain a great overall benefit from chilling razors like Strider does, nor will Assassin, nor will Magic Archer. They do not have a multi-hit skill like Strider's Splitter skill, so the success of freezing or lowering defenses is low. But Ranger does have Dragon's Glaze for ice, for freezing, and with tenfold, that freeze comes pretty quick. And also the rusted longbow, just as similar as Strider and Assassin for Torpor. The rusted daggers can also be used with Dazzle Blast, which induces Torpor with great success. And you just freeze. Once you get them frozen, at that point you can do Great Gamble or Deadly Arrow. You've got time to set up a charge. Fighter and Assassin, they both have the Almace for their ice, for their freeze. Yes, there's a theme here. Freeze. And the Dread Aspis shield has the bonus of 10% damage bonus while you are in red health, which is a low 10%. It's not 30% like Exhilaration Augment, but if you're already in red with Exhilaration, then that extra 10% is an extra 10%. And Antler Toss will freeze pretty quickly, pretty easily for Fighter, for Assassin, and for Mystic Knight, though Mystic Knight has plenty of easier methods for freezing. And Warrior, the Malignance? Yeah, we'll go with that. Longsword is a ice longsword for freezing. Yep, there's the theme. This sword is easy to get. You can farm it at multiple places like the Smuggler's Pass, Soulflare Canyon. Easy to get, easy to upgrade. And the Iraklis, of course, is great for early levels. You can get this very early, and you can upgrade it very easily, way before you get the tier 3 weapons, and way before you can upgrade those tier 3 weapons. The Iraklis will carry you through the whole game, easily. It does low damage for most of the time, but it will do one heavy hit every so often, and that just adds up. It will not be on par with the tier 3s later, because they've got higher stagger, higher knockdown. The Iraklis just doesn't have that capability. And then freeze, pretty easy to get with the Malignants. If they are susceptible to getting frozen, it's pretty easy. And then you can use that Arcove while they're frozen. Start charging the Arcove, and you're set. Rock and roll. And for Assassin, hands down, it's the Force Hatchet. Just like Sorcerer's Caged Fury, but way better on Assassin. It will do okay for Fighter, and it will do okay for Mystic Knight, but Assassin, it's a completely different weapon, applying the double damage boost to your bow. So now the bow has great damage. So just like Caged Fury, after 8 hits, you're charged, and now you're doing double damage with your sword, but also you're doing double damage with your bow. For Mystic Knight, the Almace, of course, like Fighter and Assassin, but also the Eden's Warden, Fire Sword, and the Caladbolg, Lightning Sword. Now, those three, Fire, Ice, Lightning. Why would I not go with holy weapons? Why not go with enchanted maces? Holy is just like fire. If it's weak to holy, then it's weak to fire. You don't need both. Fire is much easier to get than the holy. And the enchanted swords are easier to get and easier to upgrade compared to the maces. And then also, only Mystic Knight can use the maces. Fighter, Assassin, and Mystic Knight, they can share the swords. So, those three, Eden's Warden, Caladbolg, and the Almace, are very important for Mystic Knight. Also, a rusted staff, since Soper will be used often, and then the sleep induced with Torpor just makes the sleep last longer. And then, yeah, Mystic Knight is highly capable of freezing enemies over and over again. And a Magic Archer. Really not much needed here. Magic Archer has its skills and doesn't really need weapons, but any enchanted daggers are good. They will benefit the Sunflare skill and the Ascension skill. Compared to physical daggers, there's less gain. I always prefer the enchanted daggers for Magic Archer.